This is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Wednesday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from the American Whiskey, 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center, next to Championship Plaza. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Vinnie, Parise of pucksandpitchforks.com, coming from Chicago, Illinois. Devils taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs on a 13-game heater right now, going for the record, the franchise record, at number 14. Vinnie, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing very good, Sam. When you're on a 13-game heater, it's easy to feel good. I am very excited for this game as the New Jersey Devils look to set a franchise record for the most consecutive wins they have ever had. They'd be breaking a record set by the team in the 2000-2001 season. We know how great that team was. This is very exciting times.
It's definitely exciting. It's exciting here at American Whiskey. I love these games before a holiday. Tomorrow being Thanksgiving. It's a packed house here at American Whiskey. The fans are excited. They're all holly jolly. They want that 14th win going into Thanksgiving. But they're going to face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Devils are they have an undefeated record against Canadian teams. Can you even explain why that is, Vinnie?
Honestly, I really can't. I think it's just the Devils have been extremely strong in the way that they've played hockey since the start of the season. And the Canadian teams just happen to be the ones that were in their way at this time. The only Canadian team they haven't beaten yet this season is the Winnipeg Jets, who they will face at some point throughout the season. I don't know exactly when it is, but they've also beaten other teams. They've beaten Colorado. They've beaten Columbus. They've beaten Arizona, teams that don't hail from Canada. It just happens to be the way that the schedule shook out, that they had the Western Canadian road trip and the Eastern Canadian road trip within a week and a half span of each other, and then a couple of them came to visit the Rock a couple times, ending here with the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. But, they've also had the Islanders. They lost to Washington, Philly, and Detroit, but, that's way in the past at this point. But, it is what it is. The schedule is what the schedule is, and the Devils have beaten the teams that have been given to them on any particular night.
They are the hottest team in the NHL right now, but they still don't get respect. I mean, we talked about this on Devils After Dark. That guy, the Iron Street guy, I don't even want to mention his name, but saying that the Devils won't make the playoffs. That guy, Keith Yandel, I think he's a little bitter, don't you think?
Yeah, Keith Yandel, in a way, Keith Yandel has every right to be bitter because of how his NHL Ironman streak came to an end because of a healthy scratch, because his coach just did that to him. I will still to this day will never understand why. But it is what it is. There are going to be detractors. I actually think for the most part the Devils have been, treated fairly because the NHL Network somewhat regularly on the radio, and Mick Kern and all them, they talk highly of the Devils every day. How do you not when a team has won 13 straight games? There's just absolutely no denying it. You don't really luck into 13 straight games. You can luck into a couple wins here and there on the streak, but to win that many in a row, it's like, okay, this team's actually playing well, and there's no doubt they're one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing all the chatter on the YouTube Live and Facebook Live and Twitter Live. Technique wishes he was here. He's working late tonight, unfortunately. Wyatt Earth says that one time I trick-or-treated at Ken Danico's house at the age of 29 years old. Yes, that's actually, I think I was 22. I think you're embellishing it. But, Vinnie, we got to talk about something. We got to talk about predictions. You know how, like, The Simpsons, how they've been known to predict the future? You know what I mean?
Yeah, The Simpsons have predicted multiple big world events in the last 30 years or so since it's been on air. You could go back and watch episodes that hint at the COVID-19 pandemic or general politician divide in the United States all these years later. There have been episodes about that on The Simpsons decades prior. So yes, I understand it's crazy what's gone on there.
Well, apparently one of our one of our listeners has been binge watching all of our podcasts and made it to Game 6 against the Washington Capitals, which was the last loss of the New Jersey Devils, by the way, on October 24th, here on Game Day Live. We got to go back to a footage because apparently I said something about a 20-game winning streak. Let's go to the videotape.
It's like it's good for now, but it's not something that it's going to go all season long, unless, of course, they win 20 straight. And it's an ingenious move.
Yeah, I mean, the Devils haven't won 4 in a row since starting the 2018-19 season 4-0-0.
That's crazy.
And they ended up making the playoffs that year. You all remember
So we did talk about a 20-game winning streak, but did we really think that was going to happen when they were at 3 games?
I mean, they ended up, and the funny thing is they ended up losing that game that we had this discussion for, and then haven't lost since. If they were to have won that game, they'd be pushing out the NHL record tonight, but it is what it is. I think we're magnificent hockey minds. I think people are very fortunate that they get to listen to our hockey analysis for free. And, you know, it's been fun doing this, but I mean, I'm taking it one game at a time. I heard Ken Danico say that, but I'll tell you what. If they end up winning 20 games in a row, then we're going to start talking about Sam Wu as one of the smartest, you know, hockey people out there, because that was just an incredible call there. I honestly think you bringing up 20 wins in a row and then rattling off 13 in a row is still pretty impressive.
Well, you know what?
It was like, well, unless they do that, we can't take them seriously.
I was actually texting Chico Resch earlier today about that, because if you think about it, Vinny, if you really think about it, that if it wasn't for that bad period against the Capitals, this team would be going for the NHL record today. They would have 17 in a row if it weren't that for that bad second period against the Capitals. I mean, think about how good this team has been. I mean, there were a couple close calls with Edmonton, but you know what? They prevailed. A win is a win.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you win all the time. Like, it's nice to win the right way. Like, last year they started off hot, but there was a couple comeback victories going down 3-4 goals. It's not necessarily like the proper way to win in the NHL. I'd like to see teams win by scoring goals early in the game and then not really allowing anything to stop them from coming back, and you play a sound game all game long. You let the defense take over. You become hard to play against. You don't give the other team too much. You try to play mistake-free hockey once you get a couple goal lead, and that's really the best way to do it. And the Devils have done that for a lot of these games. I believe the only team that has out-analyticed them, if that's a word, on this 13-game winning streak was the first Edmonton Oilers game. And they ended up winning that game in comeback fashion. You might remember when Graves tied it, and they made a good play a couple minutes later for Bratt to score the go-ahead goal that eventually served as the game winner. Those are the types of things that you need to happen on win streaks. Sometimes you're not always going to be the better team, but you need to find a way to win anyway. This Toronto Maple Leafs team is very good. They have a very injured defense. They're down Brody, Muzzin, and Riley, which is never easy, especially Morgan Riley, who's one of the best defensemen in the NHL, in my opinion, most of the time. So yeah. I'm sure a kid like Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt, they're trying to feast on that kind of defense tonight. But with the forwards that Toronto has, with Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and Tavares, that's one of the best big fours in the NHL, maybe ever. And they're hot. They're trying to play well. They just lost a heartbreaker to the Islanders a couple nights ago, but they're coming to the Rock hungry to win tonight. And you know, now that the Devils are on this win streak, they have a target on their back. So we'll see how they're able to handle it.
Yeah, and by the way, fan favorite Devils organist Pete Cannarozzi is going to stop by in about 7-10 minutes here at American Whiskey at 51 Edison Place, across the street from Prudential Center, next to Championship Plaza. There's a new beer on tap on the menu here at American Whiskey. Our good friends from Departed Souls. It's $8 draft playoff beard. That's what it's called, playoff beard. Get it here at American Whiskey. Good friends at Departed Souls. I haven't had it yet, but I will after the podcast.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'm going to have to give it a try when I roll into town on 12-9 for the game against the New York Islanders. If the Devils don't lose, going into that game that will have meant they were on a 20-game win streak. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited to give the new beer a try.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Vinny, it's such an exciting time. Like when you wake up in the morning as a Devils fan right now, you wake up, you go to work. The trash talking is totally in your favor. You know the water cooler talk that I've been talking about and talking up for the last few games? Doesn't it feel good just to hold your head high that you're a New Jersey Devils fan? You're not embarrassed. You know that your team really is number one in the NHL. They're right behind Boston. But that December 23rd Devils Bruins, which will have all the dramatics, assuming that both teams are in first place in their respective divisions. But you also have the Zaka Hala trade as well. I mean, and again, December 20, it's right before the Christmas break. You can't get better than that right now. These games are so meaningful, and it's even early on.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of added extra to that game. My brother and one of my best friends in the world, Joey Parise, he's a diehard Bruins fan. Sam, you know all about Joey and his stupid antics with the Bruins. So yeah, I know you and him got in a Twitter war last season. That was really funny. But so it's a little added extra when it comes to Devils Bruins for me. If they ever played in a playoff series, I think my parents' house would explode. But, you know, aside from that, you talk about like the trash talk being on our side and whatnot. For me, I have a different perspective living out of town. Outside of Rangers fans and maybe an Islanders fan or a Flyers fan here or there, the Devils are kind of like, in terms of the entire NHL scope, they're kind of like, it's kind of like I have a new dog, right? And this new dog is like cuddly and cute and everyone wants to pet it. And it's like, oh, everyone, that's what the Devils are in the NHL right now. They're that cute little dog that everyone wants to pet and be a part of, especially if their team stinks. I have a cousin who's a diehard Blackhawks fan who sent me a text the other day and said, can I join the Devils bandwagon this season? I'm like, sure, come on over. We want everyone rooting for this team. As long as you're not a Rangers fan or a Flyers fan, then you can, you know, leave and go back.
Well, you saw what Barstool Sports, what Paul Biznasty, Paul Bissonnette. I mean, are they really on the wagon, or are they still making fun of us?
Okay, so it started off by them making fun. I know every time they talk about Jesper Bratt, that's the kind of like a theme going on with their podcast right now, and they say his name kind of funny every time he scores. They go Jesper Bratt, but you know I think that's kind of funny. They've been high on Hughes since the draft, like before the draft, before the lottery. They would talk about Hughes, and whatever team lands Hughes is going to win a cup within 5 years. They've always been extremely high on him. But I think they were a little mean to Nico Hischier early on. You know, they were some of the people that couldn't understand that, okay, the offense is going to come as long as this game develops the way that it is. And, of course, here we are now. He's one of the best two-way centers in the league. But I honestly don't think they're making fun of them anymore. You can't really make fun of a team that's won 13 straight games and leads their division by 10 points. Like, that's just not – it just doesn't make you look smart from a hockey point of view. So, you know – do they think that they might flame out in the first round? Maybe, because that actually is possible. They have no playoff experience amongst their core. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I think the respect will start to come as the season goes along, and they start to really beat some of their division rivals just a little bit more.
Just want to give a shout-out to Nate Milbank. He always comes by with cookies to the podcast, these beautiful cookies that he just dropped off. Going to have them a little bit later. Thank you. So I just want a big shout out to Nate Milbank for that. So still waiting for Pete Cannarozzi to stop by, Devils organist. We're going to ask him what he sees. I mean, he's been the Devils organist since 2001, 2002 season. He's seen it all. He's seen the Stanley Cup Finals. He's seen the good times, the bad times. But I talked to him probably a couple weeks ago at Arlette's shindig. He said there's something different about the crowd this season. Something different. And I think we've been all waiting for this moment. We have this pent-up energy. You talk about, there he is right now. Pete Cannarozzi looking very nice. Very nice, Pete Cannarozzi coming on to Game Day Live. Pete, how are you, my friend? How are you? Oh, we're on live air right now. If you wouldn't mind putting on the headset, you should know what to do. I'll get you all set up here. Yeah, why don't you have a seat, Pete? Pete Cannarozzi, Devil's organist, in the building here at American Whiskey. Gonna get him all set up. Give me 1 second, Pete. If you want to give a shout out to the crowd, Pete, as I'm trying to get the button. Yeah, you know what's happening right now, and this is a Windows problem, Pete? I can't find the mouse on the screen. I literally can't find the mouse on the screen. Oh, there we are. Yeah, all right.
It's that little white arrow.
Okay, yeah. Now the crowd on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live, they can hear you right now. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure, Sam. Always great to be with you.
Always great to be with you, too. Also, we have Vinnie Parise.
Yeah. Hey, Vinnie, can you hear me?
He can definitely hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Pete. Great to have you on.
Hey, Vinnie, I saw your message, man. When are you coming?
Yeah, so I will be there on December the 9th against the New York Islanders.
Wow, man. You
got a monitor right there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, there's Vinnie.
So,
that's his mug.
That is, I just found out, we have theme nights, right?
Yep.
Star Wars. December 9th is retro night.
Yes.
We're going to be discoing out with the disco ball.
Yes. And did you see the giveaway?
No, what is it?
It's a bobblehead of the good friend of our podcast, Chico Resch.
Ah.
And is it, who's on the other? Is it Jack Hughes?
It's Nico Heischer.
Chico
and
Heischer.
Nico.
Wow.
Chico and Nico. Bobblehead.
And they're both wearing the reverse retro jerseys.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, Pete, we were just talking about you.
All right.
All nice things.
I like to be talked about.
Yeah. So you've been the Devil's organist here for many years.
This is my 22nd season.
22nd season, right? Is there a difference between the crowd this season than the previous seasons during the Stanley Cup years?
Well, Sam, I started in 2001. The crowd was always like this because we were in the playoffs every year. Mm-hmm. We missed 1 year in 2011, but from 2001 to 2012, we were in the playoffs every year. So,
wow.
I love the crowd when it's playoff time, and it feels like that now, even though we're only 1/4 of the way through the season.
Wow.
We're only what, 20 games, 21 games maybe?
We're playing the 20th game today.
Okay, so 20 games. So we're about
17-3-0.
We're about 1/4 of the way through the season.
We got a lot of points.
Yeah.
A lot of solid points.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, not this overtime, shootout or whatever.
Right.
You're beating him in regulation mostly.
Yep, 2 points.
Yeah. Vinnie, Pete, you had a question for Pete, right, before?
Oh, yeah, I could talk to Pete for days. He's from my neck of the woods, I believe, if I remember last season correctly.
We love Chi-Town.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I'm coming there for the first time ever, and I haven't missed a Devils game in, 15 years, maybe a little less than that, 10, 15 years, and I've never gotten to a game. So I'm coming for the first time. It's my birthday, and I'm just so excited for it. What do you recommend I do when I walk in Prudential Center for the first time?
I think you should give a big woo, just like, woo!
Woo!
All right.
Yeah, and
I like that.
December 9th is your birthday?
Yep.
That's my dad's birthday, too, so wow.
Wow.
Wow, excellent. And my dad was a big Blackhawks fan. I know we're playing them on the 6th. So, a lot of connections going on here.
Wow, you got two Italians from Chicago now congregating on December 9th.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Watch out, our names both end in a vowel. Watch out, Sam.
Oh. Well, actually, Vinnie and I are going to go out for Chinese food the next day because I told Vinnie and I bust his chops, and I'll bust your chops as well.
Uh-oh.
The Italians took our noodles. Marco Polo took all the good stuff and made it better. I have to admit that.
My wife was making some tagliatelle tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I love to hear that. No, I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but Vinnie and I actually love food.
Of course. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love food? But Vinnie, you got to come up and see me in section 125 when you're at the game. You got to come up.
All right. I absolutely will. I'm looking forward to it.
We got to get some pictures for Sam's podcast.
Yep.
And, come on up to 125. The DJ's there. I'm there right in the house. He can walk right up to us.
Awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. I will absolutely. I'll be rocking a retro jersey. I'll be ready to dance right away. I'm so looking forward to it. I don't even know what to do. Think leading up to it. I'm just so excited for the game. We're doing the pregame show at American Whiskey before, and it's just going to be a great time.
He's going to be here live with
Yeah,
you?
we're going to be live that day, December 9th here at American Whiskey for before and after the game. We do a post game.
Tremendous.
Which is our biggest podcast. This is where we get everybody's reactions. Scotty is SiriusXM. He is in Beverly Hills, and we beam him on the big TV, beam him here. So the magic of technology. See that?
Wow.
Yeah, so your face is all over the place, Pete.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. Look at this, man. We are sold out all week long, too, Sam.
And
we are sold out.
The Prudential Center is sold out?
Yep.
Look at this crowd here. They're still here.
I know.
It's 6:25. They're just having a great time here at American Whiskey.
We got warm-ups coming at 6:30. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Wow is right.
So do you take requests from fans if they want something on the organ?
Well, yes and no. It depends. If I'm playing music during ingress, which I play from doors open till I came just before here, of course I'll play a song. During the game, I have to do situational songs.
Yep.
So if it's a situational song that worked, like last game, somebody asked me to play Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. And it just happened to be, the perfect penalty for me to play that. So, ba, 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 da, ba, ba.
Wow.
So it really worked. So in that case, I will do requests. But, I'm not going to play the chicken dance. That's for sure.
Well, we play the chicken dance here at American Whiskey. We do all that stuff, all those shenanigans. But, and also.
I have one. I have one for you, Pete.
What's that?
If the Devils give up a goal on December 9th, how about the Darth Vader song? Da, 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 da,
okay.
Da, da.
I could do that, but that would sort of blow my cover for December 17th because that's Star Wars night. So I'm going to save I'm going to save that for the 17th. But it's a good call.
Okay.
Good call, Vinnie. Good call.
I appreciate that. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to do all my Star Wars
stuff. The game day experience crew. I mean, the folks at YouTube Live and on social media have heard me complain because this stuff is complicated. But what goes on in the arena is how many people are on the team? 30 people? There's a lot of people.
I mean, our entire show is scripted down to the second.
Wow.
We have a timeout at 14, at 10, and 6 on the clock. And unless there's an icing and the whistle blows, we go to TV timeout. That we got to be ready to put on our show.
You see, Vinny, we don't even have pre-show meetings. You
need a script, man.
Well, we're actually unscripted.
I don't come ill prepared. Don't worry. I absolutely don't come.
Look at him. He's got his script right there.
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. I know what I'm doing over here.
Dave Singer's asking, Pete, why don't we have individual players' songs for goal scorers?
Because that comes from our whole team. We don't want to single anybody out. We want the whole team to celebrate.
It's a team concept.
Yeah, it's a team concept. It's a great question. That sort of works for baseball. When a guy's walking up to the plate, it's just one guy. So they do theme songs that way. But I appreciate the question, and it's a great question. But we're a team sport. There was a goal scored with 2 assists. So there's not enough time to play 3 songs. So we just do one song.
I have a problem with that too because the Sharks used to do that right before COVID. The Sharks were trying that, and Erik Karlsson would take a shot from the point, and you couldn't tell if it was deflected in front by a hurdle or not, or if Timo Meyer or something got a stick on it. Sometimes they take 6, 7, 8 minutes to review this stuff. Whose goal song are you playing in that situation?
6:30. 6:30. Okay. Well, Pete's only got a couple minutes. He's got to go. 2 things we do here. Number one. You have anything to plug? I know you're doing something with Valerie Simpson.
Yeah, I did my show with Valerie Simpson last week and the week before at South Orange Performing Arts Center. Mm-hmm. Sold out, encore. And then we did Sony Hall last Friday in Manhattan. Sold out, encore, and it was a great show.
Excellent.
Check out the pictures on my Facebook page. There's a lot of pictures with me and the band, so it was really amazing. She's 76 years old. And
crazy.
She's running around on the stage like a 20-year-old.
Wow.
He's unbelievable.
Wow.
And you all know all the songs she wrote. You all know them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Every Woman. You're All I Need to Get By. Ain't No
Yep.
Mountain High Enough. You know, she's amazing. She's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And also, predictions. We do predictions here. And brought to you by betstamp.app. We do these predictions because Betstamp, they actually reached out to us. They wanted to sponsor us because they like what we do here. And what it is basically, instead of like having to figure out which sports book has the best payout, it's like the Trivago of sports betting.
Okay.
So we do predictions here because everybody likes to be a know-it-all. Now,
Okay.
apparently somebody said that mentioned something about a 20-game winning streak back on October 24th, and we actually played the video before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my prediction. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yep.
I predict that the Let's Go Devils podcast will be broadcasting from this table when Vinnie Parise is in town. That's my prediction.
Pete, you're Nostradamus, actually.
All right, Sam, I got to run.
Yep.
Vinnie, great to see you. I
Yep.
look forward to the 9th. And you guys, Let's Go Devils.
Yeah, let's go Devils.
Woo! Take care, guys.
That's-
Bye now.
Absolutely.
Pete
Thank you,
Cannarozzi,
Pete.
everybody. Pete, the organist, now leaving the building, getting back to the Prudential Center. See, they take the time out to come see us, and we much appreciate Pete Cannarozzi coming here at American Whiskey. All right, let's talk about the bets before we get out of here. Vinny, what's your predictions?
Yeah, absolutely. All I got from Pete Cannarozzi on his bet is he thinks the Devils are going to win 10-0, but he's probably not allowed. So I'm just going to assume that that's what he meant.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
As far as my pick, going on betstamp.app, and I found that the DraftKings Sportsbook has the Devils at -135. I was actually surprised to see them as that much of a favorite against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I'm not betting against the Devils anymore. I'm not going to be that guy who just thinks they're going to end the streak every single game. I think they're going to extend the streak every single game, and I predict them to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight by a final score of 3-2.
Yeah, and you know what? On the Betstamp app, you and I, Vinny, have been profiting off of this 13-game heater. It's not hard to predict the New Jersey Devils, but what's interesting is the money line is not in the favor because now it's been discovered that your New Jersey Devils are a winning team. So, but you beat me by a point because I looked earlier today. Points bet. 5-3 Devils, and we got to figure out what Ramona Rice is picking because she's always right. And Dave Singer says 6-3. Ramona Rice says 4-1 Devils. 4-1 Devils in the YouTube Live. So that's very good. Everybody's picking a winning formula right here.
There you go. She always seems to be Ramona Wright, so we appreciate that.
Vinny. Very clever with the puns. Very nice.
Absolutely. Listen, I love this team. I love the fans, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us next tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, we're going to be back after the game. Devils After Dark. Scotty at SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and I will recap the game that was here at American Whiskey. Vinny, any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, don't take penalties because their Maple Leafs power play is lethal. Both their first and second unit have elite players on it. And if you're at 5-on-5, know that the Toronto Marlies are basically the defense today. So try to take advantage as best you can. Need good goaltending from Vanacek as well. Let's go Devils.
You got to contain a lot of superstars on this Toronto team. You got Austin Matthews. You've got John Tavares. You've got Mitch Marner. But Mitch Marner has a lot of pressure because, his dad's probably in the crowd, and he's going to be like, no dinner for you, Mitch, if you lose the game. So I guess Mitch is under a lot of pressure. You have to see that YouTube video of Mitch Marner and Mikey McLeod when they were 11 years old. That's what I'm referring to. It's when Mitch Marner's dad yelled at his kid. all day long. It's not right, but I shouldn't be laughing about it. But, it's a little over top for my taste. But want to thank all those tuning in, watching on social media and here at American Whiskey. I want to thank American Whiskey. Remember to tip your bartenders. Thank you, Peyton. Thank you, Mariah. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, all those. Tony Toons and his son spinning the records outside as well. So we're going to leave here and see us after the game on Devils After Dark. And until next time, let's go Devils.